Hello and welcome to episode, I believe, 129. I should have looked that up right before we started. I'm Jason.
And I'm Bill. And I got a couple interesting business moments, Jay.
Let's hear him.
I'm going to talk about, Kevin Garnett's a fairly savvy business guy. And he's always got his eye out, and he's always, looking at things. So he bought Hoop It Up, which has kind of been on the decline. And he bought Kick It, a 3-on-3 soccer tournament. And he's formed a new company called Big Ticket Sports. And in 2020, he's going to try and create this event that is music, basketball, video games, concerts, and urban lifestyle.
It's quite a bit.
Put it in about 20 markets and take it around the country, which I think is a cool idea.
It's a very cool idea.
So
and I played Hoop It Up going back to junior high, I think. I loved Hoop It Up.
Yeah, Hoop It Up. Remember we did it at UMass too?
Yeah. Well, you guys started your own. Didn't you guys do your own of that?
We did, but I think one year we did it in conjunction with Hoop It Up because they had better insurance.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of guys worked at it. Remember Tad Brown from Del Wilbur?
Oh, yeah.
President of the Rockets. He's president of the Rockets now, but he used to work in Hoop It Up when it was called Street Ball Partners.
Street Ball Partners. Okay. And I like KG. He's good on TV, too.
Yeah. So another thing I saw that I was interested in was Mr. Ballmer and the Clippers. You know, he's been answering a lot of questions. You can move the team to Seattle, and he said absolutely not. Their season tickets are up. They almost doubled the number of season tickets they had from 5,200 to up over 10,000 now.
Of course.
He said when they move in a new arena in 2024, that he be in that time up until then, he wants to talk to his fans and see if his fans are interested in changing the colors or the logo of the team. And, I think the colors need some work.
Yeah.
And, you and I talked offline. I'm not crazy about the name Clippers.
No, it makes more sense than Lakers based on the move, and Jazz, obviously. But,
yeah,
still not great.
You have an opportunity to have a real LA kind of a nickname here.
And I think if you come out with, if you get cool-looking uniforms and a good name, along with Kawhi and Paul George, and you're winning games, that's your best shot of, being the LA team, if it's even possible. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
So my first nominee for a nickname is Stars.
LA Stars, that works.
LA Stars. Because there was a baseball team, minor league team called the Hollywood Stars. And you could have some really cool logos. Black and silver, black and gold. You could do I think you could do a bunch of stuff with it.
Like I said, the black and yellow, black and gold, that needs to be in the NBA somewhere.
And you know what I meant to tell you? When I was in Pittsburgh, the store Pepe's Sandwich Shop, which does the Roethlisberger, now does the black and gold sandwich, the Wiz Khalifa black and gold sandwich.
And do you remember what that is?
No, I don't remember what it is, but it was pretty elaborate.
I see.
It was a lot of food, as could be as per usual,
Oh yeah.
So that was another thing that was out there. Let's talk about Fortnite.
Why not?
So $3 million for the champion of Fortnite, which is more than the guy won for winning the Open in Ireland, more than the horse won the Kentucky Derby. 17 years old or 16 years old, $3 million. Not a bad day.
No, and the way that game came about, when it came out in beta the first time, people didn't even like it that much.
No.
And then, they were PUBG really, I think, helped them out a lot because PUBG was the first game that was sort of in that genre that really took off. Mm-hmm. And as soon as Fortnite came along, kind of, they were aping the formula to a T. And except they added, some of the building experts and made it a little friendlier looking, but PUBG got so angry about them, they kept talking about it. It's like they gave them free advertising. And then they obviously did the brilliant thing where they put it on every device possible and made it free. So as long as you had even an old crappy cell phone, you could be playing Fortnite with your friends, which
Yeah.
all include, and it was, like I said,
No.
I aged out of that game. I was too. I mean, I don't think I have the quickness of the fingers and the processing to play that game and keep up with the kids. But it was.
I want to lead into tomorrow night on HBO's Real Sports with Brian Gumble. They're talking about video game addiction, and it's primarily Fortnite.
I see.
So I'm gonna watch that and pay attention to that because I actually know somebody whose son has that addiction, and they're talking about sending them to like a camp where there's no electronics up in the woods, like almost like a labor camp, forestry labor camp kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess as long as we're doing video game news, since it's a little slow sports week, and this sort of ties into sports. I think we talked about the loot boxes and, how EA is. Loot boxes are basically you pay money and it sort of spins the box around and then you get a surprise of some in-game stuff. You don't really know what it is.
Okay.
And some countries have banned them already. Some have outlawed them. The guy from EA, the lawyer, somehow with a straight face, he went up and said, they're not loot boxes, they're surprise mechanics, which was just, one of those lawyer moments where you're just like, wow.
But you pay for these things, right?
You pay with real money, but it's
like a lottery. You don't always get something, or do you?
You always get something, but you don't know what you're going to get. So it's not like you can get exactly what you want. They want you to keep buying them in the hopes that you eventually get what you want. And while that controversy is going on, Rockstar, who obviously has Grand Theft Auto 5, which is, arguably, one of the biggest games in history, they put a casino into their video game where you can buy real money and turn it into chips to play in the game, but you can't cash out. And it's already, I think, it's pending in like 50 countries where they're trying to see if that qualifies as legalized gambling at this point.
Wow.
Now, granted, Grand Theft Auto 5 is, a mature game, so you have to be 18. Supposedly, you have to be 18 plus to purchase the game. But it's a literal casino where you take your money and you buy chips.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's tied into a story, and you have this crazy characters all around it too. But yeah, you can take your own real money, and if you actually look at it, they do have limits on how much you can spend and things along those lines. But just we have gambling in sports. Obviously, gambling. I mean, the gambling is just everywhere, and I don't know how you regulate it all when people keep trying to do slick things like that.
No, I mean it's hard.
It really is.
Yeah. But I got one more last business thing, and this probably hits you close to home.
Okay.
The sport drink market in decline as healthy alternatives rise.
Yeah.
So the sports drink market is a hazard to watch out for, as Gatorade and Powerade declined for 2 straight years. And Gatorade accounts for $7.5 billion a year, or 15% of all Pepsi's revenue.
Wow.
That's a lot. It's a lot of work. So if they can turn that around, if they can figure out what to do, and it said they're losing out. Sport drinks are increasingly seen as unhealthy and inferior to electrolyte-rich organic concoctions such as Roar, kombuchas, coconut waters, or a myriad of other options.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Roar is. Have you had Roar?
I've not. I avoid all those because they're basically just, even coconut water is packed with sugar. I mean, it's taken forever. And sugar industry did everything they possibly could to keep, their name from getting muddied. But almost every major disease is linked to sugar. Yep. Weight gain is linked to sugar. And all these drinks are basically just chock full of sugar. And I think people have slowly, wised up to that at some point,
Okay.
Slower, though. Not all the country, but I think a lot of people that are serious about their fitness realize, Gatorade is not a healthy drink, despite the marketing and, Michael Jordan drinking it on the sideline while sweating, or Dwayne Wade, or whoever it's been over the years,
Well, Gatorade Zero, which is sugar-free, has already reached $500 million in sales. And Pepsi this summer is launching Bolt 24, a water infused with watermelon and sea salt that could better compete with Body Armor.
Huh. That's a little bit more interesting, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to look at, you got to look at something different.
Well, you can correct me on this
I mean,
story, but the original Gatorade was like water and pickle juice, right?
the original Gatorade had so much sodium in it.
Yeah.
It came in a metal can, okay? And if you like let one sit in your house for a couple months, it'd start eating through the can.
Oh, wow.
There was that much sodium in it. It was Stokely Carmichael's Gatorade, and it was in a big 64-ounce can.
Wow.
And it was salty. It was salty, I'll tell you that.
Because I know it was invented at the University of Florida in Gainesville.
Yep, that's why it's Gatorade.
And I thought he was trying to figure out some way to like get some of the benefits of the saltiness of pickle juice to start, get your electrolytes back or something along those lines, but not taste like pickle juice, through all that hullabaloo.
I don't remember the pickle juice part, but I think all the other parts are accurate.
I think so, yeah. I mean, like I said, that's why I was like, I didn't check my facts on that because I knew we were going to be talking about Gatorade, but yeah. But either way, like I said, I mean, I've been working at gyms, obviously, the last, not recently, but all through grad school, and you stop seeing that kind of stuff. People were drinking water, and they realize if they want to get healthy, they can't have sugar, and you aren't going to drink it in Gatorade.
No, and I bought the Gatorade without the sugar, and I like it. I actually like it better than Gatorade.
Oh, okay.
I think it has a clean taste, a cleaner taste. It's like a slightly flavored water that has electrolytes. So, I think it's got some value.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Pirates still haven't won since the Saturday I was there, so that's more than a week.
Yeah.
They're sellers. I think that I'm waiting to see what the Yankees do to put themselves out even further. Waiting to see what the Red Sox do. I don't know. I mean, it looks like I don't think there's going to be any surprises in baseball. If the Twins hang on, that's a great story. If the A's would creep in as a wild card, that's a great story. But those are just well-managed teams.
Yeah.
They just do the right thing. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it seems like for all the talk about parity and everything else, like it still is. It's almost like the NCAA, where like occasionally like one of the small guys builds enough of a resume to get close, but it's pretty much just the big markets.
And the Yankees are fun to watch at home runs. I mean, I have to admit they're fun to watch.
No question. And they got the history and everything else behind them. Yeah,
I'd like to have another Tyreek Hill moment if I could.
Please do.
So I watched Tyreek Hill's apology today, and my tweet was, "It sounded like my dog ate my homework." You know what I'm saying? Is what was my tweet was. Because if you watched his apology, he must have said, "You know what I'm saying," 30 times in 30 seconds. And his explanation for why he punched his son in the chest is that his son likes Iron Man and all the superheroes, and so that's what they do.
Well, he said it with a straight face, and some lawyer came up with a brilliant explanation, and that's actually true, which it's hard to believe, but you never know.
Yeah. Like I said on the show last week, it won't last a year, baby.
No.
So the Raiders are having some second thoughts about Hard Knocks.
Has Hard Knocks ever done anything good for the team on Hard Knocks? Besides embarrass the coaches and the players for the most part? I know.
I don't know. The one they did a few years ago, I think it was the Dolphins, I thought it was rough.
Yeah, and the Browns, I mean, I think that almost...
I'm sorry, that's the one I meant. When they were cutting people in the room and everything, I think that's wrong. I think it's degrading, and I think it forces the coach to be something he's not, and forces the player to have a reaction, and he doesn't want to. It's just too fake.
I mean, if there's anybody built for a fake TV show that's an NFL coach, it would be Chucky. But
no question.
And Antonio Brown would be all about that. I mean, they've got the team that would want to do it. I just don't know if it would be a good thing for that team. League
Yeah,
in
so it's
general.
hard. I guess they're still like a week, 10 days away. No, August 4th is when the show starts. That's like a week, right?
Yeah.
So they're like a week away, and I guess they'll try and get some things resolved because they kind of committed to do it. I guess maybe Chucky's trying to put in some guardrails.
I think there's a lot of untapped sports TV. I mean, I had that show a couple years ago that I thought was a really good idea, but never took off. But I mean, I think there's a lot of untapped, cool sports TV stuff you can do in sort of that field, get people get to know the players and everything else. It doesn't have to be this, you know?
Well, be sure you send some ideas and reach out to Greg Economou now at Co Laboratory because that's their new business.
Yeah, because it just doesn't seem like, they. Hard Knocks is a bad look. It made Hugh Jackman, or not Hugh Jackman, Hugh Jackson look awful. Like, I
Yeah,
know he got
it
fired
did.
during the season, but I couldn't believe they didn't fire him like after the first episode. Because that was an
Well,
embarrassment to
yep.
himself and the organization right off the bat. So,
Yeah.
well, as you said, football has started, and my Steeler probably crazy hype moment this week: Deontay Johnson, 3rd-round pick, wide receiver, looks tremendous, absolutely tremendous. I'm very excited.
Now, how big is he?
He's Antonio Brown size. He's like 5'10 and a half, 180. He's not big. But you can't hit anybody in the NFL anymore, so it's fine. But
Yeah, and you can't hit what you can't
no,
catch either.
and he's been they said the best thing about him is he's able to get in and out of his breaks with like no slow down, no stoppage. He just goes. And I don't know. Like I said, as a Steeler fan, we need to find something to get excited about, and I'm excited. I know he's beating our own guys in camp, which makes you feel like, do the Steelers have a bad secondary, or is he that good? And we're hoping he's that good.
We're hoping he's
And
that good. So Las Vegas says 9.5 wins.
9.5.
Are you taking the over or the under?
The optimist Steeler fan in me has to take the over.
Yeah, me too. I'm going for 10 wins.
I think, this.
I think it's close. I think they'll win 10 games.
This is our Steeler moment. The one thing I really do like, they haven't been like an underdog in the division in probably a decade, right? At least. And right now, I think they've got a little bit. They've taken a lot of heat. Ben's taking a lot of heat. The coaching, Tomlin's taking a lot of heat. The line's taking a lot of heat. The defense, people, I think they've got a lot of that. Nobody believes in us, kind of, and that can go a long way. I was listening to Michael Irvin talk today. He was talking Cowboys, but he also meant, this is a Steeler moment too. He said he begged Jerry Jones to take Juju Smith-Schuster in the draft, but Jerry didn't listen. But he was talking about, like, to win a championship, you have to have that. He's like, the difference between a great team and a championship team is that family, we're together mentality to pull yourselves up. Like, when you're down, it's you against the world. You pull it all together. And he's like, you've seen teams that have all the talent. They don't have that, that when they get down, they start pointing fingers and yelling at each other. But the Steelers have definitely been guilty of the last couple of years.
No, and I'm hoping that maybe we do get the family and no distractions and we all pull together. Yeah. I'll look forward to it. I'll look forward to watching that first Steeler preseason game versus the Buccaneers.
Yeah. It's very, very exciting. I'm excited for the NFL. I didn't think I was going to be as much because the NBA was, with all the trades and signings and teams switching everywhere, I'm like, maybe I'll trade for the NBA, but no. The NFL's right back around where it's always been, right at the top, ready for it.
Yeah. So I got a college football thing for you, too. So the Pac-12 is thinking about moving their games. You ready for this? 9 a.m.
Ooh.
To try and get viewers on the East Coast. Yeah. Try and get people aware of their teams, get some TV ratings, get some Heisman votes. And, I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking, wow, that's good for me living on the East Coast. But if I was living in California, do I want to get up at 6 a.m. and tailgate?
Breakfast sandwiches?
That would be my question.
I know when I lived on the West
Coast, breakfast sandwich.
I loved NFL football starting that early in the morning. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Roll out of bed, make breakfast, start watching football.
Yeah. Whenever I'm out there in every November, I think the same thing. I get a whole day of football and I'm done by
By
5 o'clock.
it's great.
I know. I love it.
And again, you can find interesting ways to tailgate. You got mimosas, Bloody Marys in the morning, a whole new tradition before the game. People love bacon at any time. I mean, it all works.
What do you think the student attendance will be?
It might be off. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be very good at 9 a.m.
I think if you're an or
unless they're coming straight from
I think the bigger teams, I think you're still filling that stadium no matter what. People will just drink all night and, they'll pregame from 9 o'clock the previous night. And they'll be real ready to go.
Hopefully
Which could be good or bad, depending on how you look at it.
Well, since we had a slow sports week, but we still did 20 minutes on sports, let's switch over to entertainment.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell everybody to go and see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm just saying, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I bought the soundtrack. I think it was really well done. I wish I could talk about it, but it's just too. It's too. You can't talk about it. What can I say? You can't give it anything away.
And this isn't giving anything away. You said you're not really a big Tarantino fan. I mean, not big, but yeah.
No.
So just people on the.
But and I'm not a big Leonardo DiCaprio fan. I'm not a big Brad Pitt fan.
So,
and they were all great in it.
There you go.
So, yeah, a good director, good storyline, good twists, great settings, great music, great storytelling. Really enjoyed it.
Well, like you, I didn't remember this weekend.
So go see it.
But I had a different experience. I saw a movie, though, it's currently trending at 6.7 on IMDb, which is pretty high for a movie like this. I saw Crawl. It's a tight 90 minutes. And I can give the premise away because I show it on TV. It's not really a big a deal. It's in Florida. Category 5 hurricane is coming. A young woman goes back to try to find where her father is. They get trapped in the house during the hurricane. And guess what's in the house? Alligators. A flood. I mean, right? the hurricane's hitting. Water's everywhere. Alligators are in the house. Nice. And I have to say, I jumped in the theater once. I got called out.
Okay. Hey, that's good though.
Because normally
so alligators in the house instead of snakes on a plane.
But I've seen so many of these movies, like I can see when the jump scare is coming, because it's a lot of, where's it coming from? There were 3 or 4 times in this I didn't see it coming. And I would say for this genre of film, this sort of disaster, realistic pseudo monster movie, whatever you want to call it, this is as good as it can get.
Okay.
And especially if you live in Florida, or I live in New Orleans now, where we do get hurricanes and flooding and everything else, it kind of works. It's plausible. And to help matters out, it was pouring rain when we walked into the theater. So I was like, and the alligators in the parking lot. Who knows? It'll be great. Yeah.
All right. Another entertainment moment. CNN has a series right now that Tom Hanks did called The Movies.
Yes.
And it's really good. So I watched, last night was the 70s. So I've watched the 70s, the 90s, and the 2000s so far. It's just really well done.
Okay.
And I enjoy Tom Hanks does a good job with it. And speaking of Tom Hanks, I saw the previews for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the Tom Hanks movie. The Tom Hanks, biopic on Fred Rogers.
He looks,
and I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely go see that.
Well, while we're in the film industry genre, I'm going to give a shout out to Unspooled, the podcast. It's what is her name? It's Amy and Paul. They break down. Most of the podcasts for this first couple of years have been they're breaking down the AFI's top 100. She's a very amazing film critic, and they just sort of break the movies down in like an hour and a half format. Sometimes they get people from the movie on, sometimes they don't, but it's really well done. Just give that a little shout out to that.
Okay.
I sort of have a fun moment. Shake Shack,
Okay.
which is my favorite of whatever the
I love
above
Shake
the
Shack.
whatever. It's not fast food. I don't know what Shake Shack is.
Yeah.
That's my favorite of that genre. And we just got one opened up down here, but you cannot get in. So I had to go to Mooyah. So MOO-YAH, which is a
Okay.
burger, fresh cut French fries place. It's really good. You know, they got the open kitchen. They smash the burgers in front of you. They pop it on. They got 4 different kinds of buns, including the potato bun. They have regular fries and fresh cut sweet potato fries. It's pretty good. Not quite Shake Shack, but if you see a Mooyah, it's worth a stop. It's good. Hopefully I'll be getting to Shake Shack, but the Shake Shack down here, like, there was a line on the street with cars trying to get to the Shake Shack.
Where
it's
is
on
it?
Veterans, which is one of the bigger, busier streets down here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Supposedly it's one in the airport too, but it's right on Veterans, right by Whole Foods and the mall. So,
hey, did the new terminal at the airport open?
I don't know. I haven't been. I'll know when I come down to see you in 2 weeks. Well, probably not there though, because that's the southwest side. But it may have. I don't know.
I think the southwest side is the new terminal. I think.
And maybe that'll get the Shake Shack. I don't know which one's getting the Shake Shack, but yeah.
Well, there's a Shake Shack in. I'm thinking it might be LaGuardia.
Okay.
And then there's one in the Phillies stadium. That's the largest sit-down Shake Shack in the world.
My Shake Shack is limited once in New York,
in the stadium.
Once in Orlando, and then I've seen one down here. And they never seem to be in very big locations, especially parking-wise.
Well, the consistency is amazing because I had it in London, and if I wouldn't have known I was in London, I'd have thought I was in New York. And that's one of the big things about Shake Shack. They don't have a crazy menu, you know? They do a certain amount of things, and they do them really, really well. I think
we've said before, like, it's a good rule. Like, if you have a small menu, it's usually because you know what you do well, and you just do it well. And that's why people are going to go there. Like, you don't need to have the Cheesecake Factory encyclopedia of food, just, you know, where they have like 75 different menu items, or probably more than that. Shit, the place is ridiculous, but just
that's one of the biggest
just do it well. What you do, not to disparage anyone that likes Cheesecake Factory. Good for you.
Yep. No, I'm a huge fan of Shake Shack and the black and I like the black and white
it's a good shake. And I'm anxious to try the chicken sandwich, which I've seen. While at price wise, it's nowhere near the Chick-fil-A sandwich. What I've read is it's the closest thing to being a Chick-fil-A shake or chicken sandwich competitor, which is high praise.
Okay.
You know, I mean, a lot of people have attempted to beat the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, and in the articles I've read, this is the only one that technically beats it, but it loses to it because it costs like 4 times more. So.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, the price wise.
How do you think about the fries at Shake Shack?
I like their cheese fry. Their cheese sauce that comes with the cheese fries is pretty good. And of the frozen fry.
Yeah, that's what
I've always thought the crinkle cut is the best of the frozen French fry. I don't know what it is about the cut, but it seems like that gives you the nicest, crispiest potato to skin ratio of all the frozen fries.
Well, BurgerFi is just a hair behind Shake Shack for me, and they have great fries.
And that's the Mooyah that I went to this week. Great fries. And they also, I didn't get it because I'm not sure how I feel about it, but they offer a green chili queso with their fries. That's sort of one of Mooyah's things.
Ooh.
We just got regular shareable fries and had ketchup, but they do offer an in-house case of it they make. But other than that, it's just burgers. And then obviously I think they have the Beyond Meat or one of those veggie burger things going on too. And you can stack them as high as you want, as I got a triple, because why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
If you can have a burger, have a burger.
Go deep. But I will say that it's a double is plenty of burger. I would get a double if I went back. They looked really skinny on the griddle, but less so in the actual eating of the sandwich. And I guess I don't know how many Nintendo fans we have on here, but Nintendo had a great week. Obviously, they had the bad thing with the Joy Cons, but they are going to fix those for free. That anybody had the Joy-Con problem, and they're refunding anybody that in the last year has paid for theirs to be fixed. So that's been nice for Nintendo. But they released Fire Emblem with 3 houses.
Very nice.
Which Fire Emblem is one of my all-time favorite game series. This one's getting 9s and 10s across the board, and it's phenomenal. And then they released a very surprising Marvel Ultimate Alliance, The Black Order. A very good game that's getting a lot of love. So, good week for Nintendo. I guess could have thought video game business, but I figured I'd throw it at the end.
Okay. Well, it was an enjoyable show.
Yeah.
Went fast.
Please rate us on iTunes because we always like that. Subscribe, obviously. If you can afford to become a Patreon member, we really appreciate it. And I guess we'll be back next week.
Great. Send us some questions.